Brett Dawson from Sellout Crowd here at Chase Center in San Francisco, where the Thunder wins again 130 to 123 in overtime. And this was a classic, maybe a signature kind of win for this Thunder team. And it came thanks to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren more than anyone else. Great team effort, but what a night for those two guys. Shai with 40 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Chet with 36 points and 10 rebounds, his career and season high. Just spectacular play from those two guys on a night when the Thunder, you're playing with house money to a certain extent, having won here on Thursday, and the Warriors still playing without Draymond Green, but Steph Curry comes back super impactfully. He has 25 points, but it's more than that. It's the way you have to adjust your defense. It's the space he creates. It's the looks that Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins get as a result of him. Wiggins with 31 points, like a throwback to his Minnesota Timberwolves Thunder Killer days. And yet with all that happening, and the Warriors get up by 18 points in the third quarter of this game, kind of looks like the Thunder are going to get out of here with a respectable split. And then the game just completely changed. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander takes over, gets the game close. The Thunder goes on a good run. And then a really key stretch to start the fourth quarter as some other guys rest. Jalen Williams came out on fire, made some really difficult shots, carried the Thunder offense at a time when it really needed it. The defense was spectacular, really locked down. And suddenly this thing is a game. And from there, it was back and forth. Wiggins makes a shot with just a little under 2 seconds to play that looks like it's going to be the game winner, a three-pointer that puts the Warriors ahead by 3. Chet Holmgren, on his biggest night of the season, makes the three-pointer to tie the game, a spectacular turnaround shot. You can see the video of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander mouth agape. He said after the game that was disbelief and that it felt like a movie in the moment. And it certainly had that kind of feeling. Really tough shot. The Thunder, Jalen Williams says they've practiced that shot a lot. He was glad to see Chet Holmgren get it. And it was a questionable decision in some circles because Chet, as well as he'd played, not great down the stretch. He talked about after the game, he in his words, smoked a layup that Jalen Williams set up for him. He was a little late to close out on Steph Curry on a three-pointer. Made a couple of really critical mistakes on a night when he was really great most of the time. He credited Mark Daigneault for the confidence to go back to him and get him that shot, and he made it. Huge one. And then in the overtime period, really, as good as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander typically is, just really at a different level in those final 5 minutes, including a sequence, kind of his signature sequence of the season to date. He makes a tough jumper, kind of an SGA classic, then blocks a Steph Curry three-pointer, cruises in for a layup, and that effectively put the game away. The Thunder really dominated, held the Warriors to 6 points in overtime. They were really good across the board defensively. Even in the fourth quarter, they were able to go without Lou Dort for a long stretch, the entire fourth, and still really locked down defensively. Cason Wallace was really good. Isaiah Joe was really good. Those guys were terrific defensively, as good as SGA and Chet were, and they were fantastic. A whole lot of guys really stepped up and contributed to get these guys back from 18 down. Maybe the most impressive win of the season. We keep saying that. The Thunder have had several like that, but this one, this is a night where the Warriors desperately want to win, and they played like a team that desperately wanted to win and just couldn't get the stops they had to get and couldn't get the buckets they had to get against this Thunder team that was playing so well. Those Jalen Williams 22 points, really critical. You can't understate the value of that on a night when the other two guys were really carrying the offense. I think the thing to take away from this, and the thing I'll write about at selloutcrowd.com, some of the two-man stuff between Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren, I think this is the best we saw of that. Some of that probably you can attest to some adjustments that the Thunder made today. Mark Daigneault talked about some video stuff that they looked at, and looking at Chet Holmgren when he gets in some switches, even if he's covered, but he's covered by a smaller guy, being more aggressive in getting Chet the ball and letting him try to finish some stuff inside. He was much more active around the rim than we've seen him be. Not just a catch and shoot player tonight, did a lot of different stuff, shot fakes and drives, mid-range stuff. And then you would see sometimes when SGA in particular, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would get defensive attention and he would find Chet on some of those plays, some of those rolls. Another play where Chet brought the ball up the court, finds Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because the defense comes to him. Really saw those two guys playing off one another, and they talked about that after the game, about that process for them. As Mark Daigneault said, they're better at it now in the two-man game than they were at the beginning of the season. He hopes they'll be even better in a couple of weeks. That's a process, and it's coming along. And Shai said it's been a pretty easy process because of all the stuff Chet can do. We'll have a story about that at selloutcrowd.com on Sunday morning. The Thunder are headed to Portland, and so are we. We'll see you there. Back-to-back game, going to be a challenge against a plucky Blazers team. Not a great team, team, but a team that is competitive and will fight. And coming off this game tonight and having to turn around and play tomorrow, it'll be an interesting kind of challenge for the Thunder. So we'll see how they react to that. We'll have plenty of coverage here on my YouTube page and at selloutcrowd.com, so check it out.